Back in Bahar, the kingdom was still being held captive by Dahak and his forces, with many of them being made up of thieves prowling about at night or within the darker parts of the area, along with many corrupt guards who chose to serve Dahak. Of course, there were still the frozen subjects of the kingdom who were placed around like statues as a form of mockery. As for Dahak himself, he was currently in his private room speaking to the mysterious entity who was all but stated to be the dreaded yet mysterious Anhria Mainu. "So, you lost them again?" Anhria Mainu snarled in his energy form, with his tone indicating that he was glaring at Dahak for his failure. This was enough to make Dahak and his snakeheads tremble in fear, even if he remained composed. "I am sorry, my master," Dahak apologized. "It appears that they managed to slip past me once more, not to mention the incident in Istakiri is making us lose our control over the people there. Even worse, Sudabe mentioned seeing my former brethren being present at her palace, along with Feridun. So that brat you cursed is not only still alive, but is also helping the rebels?" Anhria Manu snarled, causing the dark room they were in to be enveloped in an ominous shade of red. "You know what? Forget about finding the Sky Princess and Gryphon Prince. Feridun must be destroyed at once!" "But he is already hated by all because of his failures," Dahak pointed out in confusion. "Surely waiting for him to die of shame, or better yet, taking his own life is a much better option." "Are you questioning my authority?" Anhria Manu asked in a menacing tone, causing Dahak to bow once more and tremble harder in fear. "No, my master, of course not," Dahak exclaimed. "I was simply wondering if we should focus on finding Feridun at all, since we have the Sky Princess and the Gryphon Prince to focus on. That is all. I meant no offense." "I hope so, for your sake," Anhria Manu warned. "Tread carefully, Dahak. Do not forget who gave you the authority to rule this pathetic world. If you so much as mess things up for me, I will not be so merciful. I gave you your powers. I could take them away if you wish." This was enough to send a chill through Dahak's spine, with even his snakeheads trembling in fear at the idea of having his powers taken away. "No, never again. I refuse to be seen as that weak boy I once was centuries ago," Dahak thought to himself in both fear and anger. "I understand, my master," Dahak said, keeping his head bowed. "I shall do as you say." "See that you do," Anhria Manu warned before disappearing. "Do not fail me." Once he disappeared, Dahak grumbled to himself as he left his private room and left to meet up with the rest of his cohorts, as they were all waiting for him. While his followers were mostly made up of mercenaries, criminals, robbers, slave traffickers, and thieves who stood guard to make sure nobody tried to leave or attack Dahak. There were some others, such as the seductive Sudabe, the warmongering and ruthless Afrasia, his more cunning yet equally ruthless brother Garsivas, and many, many thieves who were present for the occasion. "So, he returns to us once more," Afrasiab said with a sinister grin. "So, who are we raiding again?" "Perhaps we should focus on finding the Sky Princess and the Gryphon Prince?" Garsivas asked in a colder tone. "I hope so," Sudabe snarled. "They ruined my business and destroyed my beautiful palace, along with forcing me to leave Istakiri. If I see that brat of a princess again, I'm strangling her with my bare hands. Silence!" Dahak declared, his voice causing a hush to spread throughout the room. "Sudabe, the only reason why your palace and business got destroyed was because you foolishly allowed the chosen heroes to be let into Istakiri. That was your fault and your responsibility, especially since the slave trafficking business has not only been compromised because of your failure, but has also started to inspire people to rebel. I'm starting to wonder why I even bailed you out if all you're going to do is mess things up for me." Hearing this made Sudabe shiver and back down in fear, as she knew that angering Dahak was a horrible idea. Dahak then cleared his throat as he spoke once more about what he and his dark master was speaking about earlier. "I have just received my next orders from Lord Anhria Mainu," Dahak revealed. "There has been a change of plans. We will focus on finding the princess and her brother later. We need to find the dragon who was assisting them." "Wait, you mean the dragon that was there in Istakiri? Garcivas asked out of curiosity. Why exactly is he our main priority now? Because he is none other than Feridun, Dahak revealed in a grim tone, causing everyone to gasp or stay silent in shock. Even the Deves who were present showed signs of shock, if their growls were of any indication. But how? Afrasiab asked in disbelief. How is he still alive? I thought he would have died years ago. I thought so too, until Sudabet told me what happened recently, Dahak said while casting a small glare at her direction. Since Feridun is still alive, there's no way the rebellion will stay put after this. Now that they have the princess, the Gryphon, and the dragon who was supposed to serve as the original face of the rebellion, chances are they are going to use this as a way to bring in more support for the old blacksmith's rebel. They may even use that as a chance to take back this kingdom and rally more support for their cause. We cannot let that happen. Seeing the gravity of the situation, the group gave each other nods and agreement upon realizing how serious this was, and that Feridun was a much bigger threat than they expected. Right, Afrasiab said in agreement. I shall gather my troops in order to find Feridun. Search all over Avesta if I have to. I shall accompany him and think of plans to track him down and perhaps bring him to us, if possible, Garcivas said as he raised his hand. I'll be sure to use what's left of my connections to see if they can find Feridun or even those snakes who were helping him earlier, Sudabes said, and hopefully have my men find the Princess Brat as well. See that you do, Dahak warned as he turned to the Deves present. The same goes for the rest of you lot. Make yourselves useful and bring me the head of Feridun. He will not be escaping this time, nor will he reignite the flames of rebellion under my watch. The Deves nodded, but not before exiting the room, leaving behind only servants to clean up the mess. One servant, however, couldn't help but feel curious, if not cautiously optimistic about the news he had just heard. While I don't particularly care for Feridun, I am curious as to where the princess and the prince are, the servant thought to himself. This particular servant, who was known by the name Kurosh, had served the royal family of Bahar and was present for Dahak's usurping and petrifying of the populace, as well as the royal family's sons, Soraya and Tahir. In fact, Kurosh was the one who sent Marosh away in hopes that the Saluki would find the princess and keep her safe. The fact that the princess was confirmed to still be alive, but also helped destroy the lecherous and treacherous Sudabes base of operations in Istakiri, filled him with hope as it did for the other servants. Of course, showing said hope was considered a sign of defiance and proved rather risky around someone like Dahak, who could not stand to see anyone happy, let alone hopeful. Even so, he yearned for a chance to speak to the princess once more. As he and the other servants cleaned up the meeting room before going back to their respective rooms, he glanced up at the full moon glowing at night. O Munasta, Kurosh prayed in a hushed tone, I ask that you provide another miracle for us, and perhaps give me a way to send a message to the princess and prince over what Dahak's plans are. Later in the night, Kurosh was fast asleep when he heard something in his room. Suddenly, as he was waking up, he saw a mysterious hovering figure appear in the moonlight and rubbed his eyes so he could get a better look at it. As the figure hovered closer, they stopped right in front of Kurosh's window and took on the form of a vaguely humanoid being who had a light blue and cyan color scheme with bird-like wings on their back. At first, Kurosh thought he was dreaming, or worse, being deceived by Dahak's manipulations, until the winged being spoke. Greetings, Kurosh, the winged being said in a gentle tone. My name is Raosha. I am a messenger from Omurazda himself, and am here to confirm that he has heard your prayers. Really? Kurosh shouted in shock until he realized just how loud he was before lowering the volume of his tone. Really? He has been listening? Yes, he has, Raosha assured the servant. He has heard your prayers and will ensure that the Serpent Shah and his master are defeated for good. He has gathered the princess and her brother with the rest of the rebellion, for the final battle is a reckoning, and will put an end to the madness and destruction both entities are causing to Avesta. But in order to do it, Omurazda needs the support of those who have stayed faithful to him during these dark times. Are you willing to take the risk to help the rebels and the forces of good? Yes, Kurosh said almost immediately. I'll do anything if it means taking down Dahak for good. He has been nothing but a monster to us all. He scratched one of the servants' eyes out just for correcting him, and when he's not maiming poor folks like us, his deeds either torment us or eat us, with Afrasia and his equally twisted brother, Garcivas, abusing their status to torment us as well. We have no freedom here at all, and we are too weak and afraid of Dahak to stop him. But if this will bring the princess and her brother back to us, along with saving not just Bahar, but also Avesta, then I'll do it. I'll even gather allies to help us. I'm glad to hear that, Saraosha replied with a gentle smile. Well, I cannot help you escape from this place due to Dahak and Anhriamainyu's negative influence preventing those of Omarasa's council from properly intervening. I can send messages from this domain to the rebellion, who are currently in hiding. If you could provide any information for me that I can relay to, now would be a good time. Well, I do have one piece of critical information that may benefit the rebellion, as it involves Feridun himself, Kurash revealed. He then proceeded to explain what Dahak ordered his henchmen and thieves to do, with Thrausha listening attentively as he heard this vital piece of information. That is indeed important, and will most certainly allow for the rebellion to have a chance at succeeding. This vital piece of information will allow the rebellion to gain the upper hand over him and his dark master. Thank you for informing me of this, Saraosha said with a grin. You have done Omarasa a great service and will be rewarded for it. Thank you, great Saraosha, Kurash thanked with tears in his eyes and hope in his tone. I shall continue to be your eyes and ears for the rebellion, for the sake of the princess and prince. I shall be counting on you for that, Saraosha replied with a nod before preparing to leave. Get some rest, for the final battle is coming nearer. As he said this, he spread his wings and flew away towards the night sky, with the moon continuing to shine down Kurash's window. Knowing that Omurasa was watching over Avesta and hadn't abandoned it after the first rebellion failed and humanity had fallen into depravity, made Kurash happy and optimistic. He didn't know it yet, but deep down he had a feeling things would get better for everyone after all.